There are women out there who are packing it up. They are leaving those relationships with that man. And in doing so, they are also leaving their children with that man, their baby daddies, their ex-husbands, their ex-partners, their ex-boyfriends, whatever the situation was. They are doing something that is traditionally thought of as being very taboo and deciding to give full custody of their children to their father. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling women and men who have experienced abuse as well as those who have been perpetrators of abuse and other violent crimes. And what we're seeing now and what more women are starting to embrace now is they don't want to be the full-time mom. And instead, what they'd rather do is give full-time physical custody to the father, to the father, and they would rather pay their child support parents, but they leave the father to manage the day-to-days of, raising the children. And that is something that has been traditionally thought of as taboo, but what these women are starting to realize, and many women do it for different reasons. There are some women who do it for the simple fact that, they don't want children. They never wanted children. Children was more so something that the father wanted, and therefore they don't want the the responsibility, the primary responsibility of raising their children. It doesn't mean that they don't love their children. It just means that they don't want to take on the primary stress for that. There are some women who are abandoning their children altogether. I did a podcast some years ago with a woman whose mother packed it up and left and never ever returned. She never heard from her mother again. Very painful ordeal. But yet and still, you still have some mothers that love their children, still want to be an active participant in their child's life, but they don't want to be the primary responsible parent. They would rather have the father take on the hardships, and they may have other things that they're facing, as well as most parents do. So, they may be working, trying to stabilize themselves and get a stable home life, stable financial life, in dealing with, just their own stressors. And maybe they feel like they're not stable enough to raise their children, or maybe they are stable enough. They just don't want the added responsibility of managing the day-to-day, and they're willingly handing it over to the father, and they're going on with their lives. And this is thought of as taboo because traditionally speaking, a lot of fathers have gotten to saddle women up with children and then skip on down the yellow brick road and live their lives as they see fit, almost like a single man with no responsibilities. While there are some mothers who may struggle who may struggle with addiction and other challenges like that, or, some women, like I said, who abandon the family, it is traditionally thought of as a mother's responsibility, and these women are defying the societal norms and handing that responsibility back to dad. And so we're starting to see women openly talk about, giving up custody, women talking about paying child support. I think I've even seen a TikTok recently where, a man had a woman arrested for lack of payment, and, and all these other kind of things, and not showing up on time for the custodial exchange and things like that. So we're really getting to see a peek inside of, I won't say it's a new dynamic, but it's one that's not as well talked about as, talked about or researched as the single mother dynamic. And so it's really interesting to see how this sort of plays out. Let me know if you are a single mom or excuse me, if you are a mom that has given custody of your children over to their father, or let me know if you know of someone who's done this. What have been your observations? How do you feel about it, and so on and so forth. I'm interested to keep this dialogue going. Thanks so much.